Today we're gonna read A to Z Mysteries, the Jaguar Duel, Chapter 3. Let's read Chapter 3. Ding's uncle lived in a squat gray building a few blocks from the museum. A tall man in a green uniform opened the doors. Good evening, Mr. Duncan, the man said. Hello, Roger. Kiss, this is Roger Hobart. Uncle Warren put his hand on Ding's shoulder. This is my nephew Donnie, and these are his pals from Connecticut, Josh and Ruthven. Roger smiled at the kids. Welcome to New York, he said. Will you wash your backpacks while we're out? Uncle Warren asked. I'm taking the kids for dinner. Any suggestions? Roger rubbed his stomach. How about the panda place for Chinese? Perfect, Uncle Warren said. How about it, kids? I've never eaten Chinese food, Josh said. What is it like? Delicious, and there are about 1,000,000 choices on the menu, Roger said. All right, Josh said. I'm game. Dink said. Me too, Ruth said. Can we eat with chopsticks? Uncle Warren laughed. Of course. They walked to a street called Broadway. The wide sidewalks were crowded with people. Lights began to come on in store windows. A man leaned against a building, playing softly on a saxophone. The saxophone case lay open at his feet. Look, Josh whispered. There's money in the guy's case. If people like his playing, they give him money, Uncle Warren explained. He dropped a dollar bill into the case. The kids each dropped some change in, getting a smile from the sixth player. Here we are, Uncle Warren said. A few minutes later, the panda place had a shiny red door with a fake panda bear standing on either side. A smiling host welcomed them to the restaurant. 2 hours later, Josh leaned back from the table. I'm stuffed, he said. Their waitress brought the bill and placed a fortune cookie in front of them. Inside these cookies, you'll find a slip of paper telling your fortune, Uncle Warren said. Some people think that if you eat the cookie, your fortune really comes true. Can I save mine till later? Ding asked. My stomach is really gonna hurt. Good idea. We'll have the cookies at home, Uncle Warren said. He paid the bill and they left the panda place. By the way, what were those black slimy things on my chicken? Josh asked as they walked along Broadway. Seaweed, Ding said. No way! Donnie is right, Uncle Warren said, but seaweed is good for you. Good for fish, maybe, Josh said. It started to rain, so they walked quickly. At the apartment, Roger handed them their backpacks. How was dinner? He asked. I ate black seaweed, Josh muttered. Roger grinned. Good stuff, isn't it? He asked. Uncle Warren and the kids rode the elevator to the 10th floor, then walked down the hall to a gray door. Welcome to my little apartment, Uncle Warren said and let them inside. Uncle Warren's living room was filled with old, comfortable-looking furniture. The carpet on the floor was thick and soft. Paintings hung on the white walls between overflowing bookcases. Neat place, Uncle Warren, Dink said. Thank you, Donnie. Ruth Rose, you get the guest room, Uncle Warren said. You two boys can share the fold-out sofa here in the living room. When they were all in their pajamas, they gathered around the dining room table to open their fortune cookies. The oldest gets to read this first, Uncle Warren said, cracking open his cookie. He read his fortune silently, then laughed out loud. Mine already came true. It says that I will meet nice people today, and I have. Me next, Josh said. He broke open his cookie and pulled out the thin paper. He read out loud, Strange food will please you. Josh made his face. I already ate seaweed, he said. I can't wait to see what's next. My turn, Ruth said. She ate her cookie and looked at the fortune inside. Oh boy, this says I'll find treasure in unexpected places. Your turn, nephew, Dink's uncle said. Then it's too bad for all of us. We have a busy day tomorrow. Dink cracked open his cookie and read his fortune to himself. I don't get it, he said. Out loud, Dink, Josh said. Dink read, Your eyes will play tricks on you. His uncle smiled. Right now, your eyes seem really pretty, nephew. Off to slumberland. After breakfast the next morning, Uncle Warren and the kids walked back to the museum. It was still raining, so they huddled under two umbrellas. They left the dripping umbrellas on the small landing at the top of the stairs. Another wet umbrella already stood in the umbrella stand. Uncle Warren opened the door, and they walked into his office. A man greeted them just inside the door. Ah, James, you're here, Dink's uncle said. Kids, this is James Pride, my assistant. James, this is my nephew, Donnie Duncan, and his friends, Josh and Ruth. James Pride looked at the kids and smiled. Has Warren taken you sightseeing? He asked. Not yet, Uncle Warren said, but I've promised them a buggy ride through Central Park when the rain stops. James tapped the wooden crate. I leave this to you, Warren, he said. My daughter loves to do, but now I'm behind on paperwork. He walked into his office and closed the door. Just then, there was a knock on the outer office door. Uncle Warren opened it to a man in a raincoat. I'm Dr. Jeremy Piss, the man said. I believe Mr. Duncan is expecting me. Indeed I am, Dr. Piss, Dink's uncle said. He shook the man's head. Come in and dry off. Care for some tea? No, thank you. I had breakfast at my hotel, Dr. Piss said. He glanced around the office, then walked over to the large crate. I see the treasures have arrived. Yes, the box came late yesterday, Dink's uncle said. Hang up your wet things and we'll get to work. Once more, Uncle Warren pried off the crate's lid. He lifted each piece from the crate and handed it to Dr. Piss, who carefully removed the wrappings. Using a special magnifying glass, he examined each item, then checked it off a list. The kids helped by rewrapping the treasures. There were several more gold cups, a few carved animals, some pottery, and colorful masks made of jade and feathers. This all looks in fine condition, Dr. Piss said. He glanced at his list. But where is the Jaguar, Mr. Duncan? Dink's uncle reached down into the crate. Donnie, can you give a hand? He asked. Dink hurried over, and together they lifted the long, heavy package out of the crate. Place it here, please, Dr. Piss said. He stood near the right side of Uncle Warren's desk. Watch the fish tank, Donnie, Dink's uncle said as they set the heavy package down on the desk. They all gathered as Dr. Piss stripped away the brown paper. Josh let out a gasp as the plastic bubble wrap was removed. The Jaguar was solid gold. It was lying down, staring at his ruby eyes. Between its paws was an emerald the size of a golf ball. The green jewel blazed under the office lights. Isn't it spectacular, guys? Uncle Warren asked. What workmanship? Dr. Piss wiped his hand on a handkerchief. Then he stroked the golden cat, feeling each curve and muscle. What's this? He said suddenly, bending over the jewel. Something's wrong? Dink's uncle asked. Dr. Piss peered through his magnifying glass at the jewel. A minute later, he raised his head and looked at Dink's uncle. Sir, this stone is a fake. And that is the end of chapter 4. Wow! The Jaguar made of gold is the jewel is fake. Dr. Pitt said this jewel that came in Uncle Warren's office is fake. I mean, if you only look at this picture, it looks like real. I mean, the picture says it's shiny. Wow. I can't wait until chapter 4. Maybe Dr. Pitt given evidence about why this jewel that came to Uncle Warren's house became fake. Is fake. See you next time with chapter 4. Bye.